What's up, Marcy Cookie? So last time I shared with you guys why do I think Etsy is quite beneficial to have if you're an artist, and shared some very useful tips if you want to succeed on Etsy. If you haven't seen this video, check it out in the description below. But as promised in this video, if you are looking to start an Etsy business, if you are thinking about ideas, you don't know what to do, I've made a list of things that you could try to start an Etsy shop. And this list includes all of the digital products, so you never actually have to touch anything or worry about shipment if you don't want to. Let's go. So when you think about starting an Etsy shop, you gotta think about customers first. Who are you going to sell to? Is this a person who want a gift, which is a very common reason why people go on Etsy, or maybe this person owns a business. What does this person do? Why would they buy your product? We have to be a little bit of a business oriented here, just because as artists we are creative, but if you want to sell your art, if you don't have your own audience, your own fan base, it's a little bit harder, so we need to think about the customer. And so I've actually separated this list into 3 categories. Number 1 is your customer is somebody who's looking for a gift for a loved one or for an aesthetic piece. So of course, number 1, if you're an artist, you're probably creating your own pieces, and if you want, you can let people have an option of downloading your very own digital artwork so that they can print it themselves and put it in their home. You just send it in the file, it doesn't cost you anything to print it, it's very straightforward model, and you still create your own art. But right away, I would only recommend this if you already have a fan base, because if you don't, it's gonna be much harder to find customers, especially because Etsy is getting more and more saturated. So if you don't have a specific niche, if you don't have something you're known for and you're coming with no fan base, it's gonna be more difficult for people to actually see your work. So if you have a social media presence, I would recommend doing this. Then you can just direct people towards your artworks over there. And once your fan base goes there, Etsy will see that your shop is popular and it will push it to more people who are looking for art. So win-win. Another thing you can do is selling printable stickers. If you have some cute designs that you can do, it can be in your style, it can be a multiple different styles. I would recommend to stick to stickers. No pun intended. That's just so that people know that that's what you're known for and that's what they're going to you for. What I would recommend is having stickers on a PNG file and have a transparent background, because some people, they might even have a cutout machine themselves already. So in this case, you could actually give them a PNG file and they can just have a machine cut it for them, and then they can print it out and stick it themselves. Next is coloring books or coloring pages. During the pandemic, maybe because of all of the stress, people started coloring more. Like coloring books, especially for adults, have been getting more and more popular. So if you can turn your art, or if you have a unique style and you can turn it into a coloring book, it would be great. It's something that can sell as long as you market it properly, but that's marketing is a whole another animal. Now for the last part of this category is custom designs. It can be custom portraits, it can be custom calligraphy. There's a lot of things that you can do with it, but basically if you want to do custom portraits, so people are looking for gift, they want to get a portrait for their loved one, what they can do is they will send you a picture and then you can design a portrait for them. Or you can be creating custom pet artworks. Pet themed gifts, especially custom ones, are very popular on Etsy, so that's another niche that you could tap into. I think if you are great at drawing animals, it would be very beneficial for you. Custom portraits are quite popular too, so I would say custom artworks, custom portraits, those things are great, especially if you can create them quickly. That would definitely put you in front of other people. I've seen some sellers marketing their custom portrait services and it can be done in 6 hours. Like 6 hours from order, it's ready. So if you can compete with that, go for it. So the next target audience category is artists like ourselves. So this one you can get even more creative. I'm just again giving you some ideas. Think about what would you buy as an artist? What would be useful as a tool for you? So I thought, number 1, Procreate brushes, very popular. If you know how to create good brushes, you can have a quality product. Procreate brushes are great. I actually have my very own Procreate brushes set that is coming out. You can check out in the link below if I already released it, which should be coming soon. I have some sets coming out. If you're familiar with my digital art, I use those brushes to make it. In my opinion, Procreate brushes are great because they do save us time, especially if you already have a preset and everything. You can create an awesome artwork quicker. I have my very own brush set, but I also used to get and still sometimes get other brush sets from Etsy or creative markets and things like that. So Procreate brushes are popular if you can make a quality product. Another thing for Procreate is textured paper. If you can make a unique, beautiful textured paper, something for sketchbook, or it can be storyboard paper, there's a lot of things that you can do. Just think about it from an artist's perspective. What would be helpful to you? What kind of paper would you be willing to buy instead of making it yourself? Like, for example, for storyboards paper, it always takes time. I hate it because like every time I have to do it, it's so tedious. But if you have a storyboards paper already, it's much quicker, and I think people would be willing to pay little bucks for it in order to save some time, especially when they're on a schedule to do their freelance work or studio work or whatever. So that's a good idea, and it's original one. Not many people doing that, by the way. Another original idea, so I think, from Cusino artists, poses templates. Basically, what you can do, if you're great at anatomy, if you're great at drawing poses, what you can do is you can either design a Procreate brush with certain poses, so it would be easier for people to just trace your pose and just draw on top of it, or you can just straight up draw a PNG file, PNG like with transparent background or without, up to you. But I think most convenient one for artists to use is a Procreate brush one, if you can manage to do it, if you know how to make Procreate brushes. If you don't, just draw a set of poses and have them on PNG with transparent background and you'll be great. Another thing is color palettes. Color palettes are great, especially if you have a good eye for it and you have example of your artwork using those color palettes. That's great. I would say you cannot probably price them very much, just because a lot of us artists, we are looking for our own color palettes, but I think it can be still useful if you're charging like, I don't know, $1 or 50 cents. Or if you have it as an add-on to your Procreate brushes set, I think it would be very useful for artists that are getting it. Because again, we are all artists. Just keep your peers in mind. When you're designing those products, think about what would be useful to you as a tool, what would be useful to your artist friends as a tool, and do that. And last one I could think of is digital sketchbooks. Because you guys know that digital planners are getting more popular. It's flooded with them. There's a lot. So there are some artists that like to put their art in an actual digital book. And one of the good ways to help them do that is if you design a digital sketchbook. It's not necessarily for them to draw. They can draw in it, of course. They can doodle in it, that's fine. But to be honest, if you're doing a digital sketchbook and say GoodNotes, they're not gonna be drawing probably as much in that software particularly, but it's a good idea to give them an option to display their ready artworks. So you know how we still like to put it on a paper? It would be nice if you can design like a hardcover digital version that looks good, so that when they put in their artwork, it actually looks solid and nice together, so that they can actually flip through the digital file and make it look consistent, maybe even use it for their portfolio. But again, you gotta learn how to make a digital sketchbook and make it a good quality. We wanna make sure that those tools are actually valuable instead of just selling whatever. And the last target audience category is businesses and business owners. There are a lot more categories out there, you guys. You gotta get creative, but these are the ones that might be profitable, useful, and helpful to you as an artist. So first, and you guys are gonna thank me for that because this thing is not too saturated in Etsy yet, but if you try doing this right now, I think you might be able to catch up with a trend, because I have a feeling this thing is gonna get popular very soon. So the sooner you can start, the better. Designs with commercial license. So on Etsy, you can see a lot of printable designs designed by different artists, but most of them are meant for personal use. But if you can sell your design with a commercial license attached to it, you have much better chances of selling it and selling it for higher price. Because obviously we're artists, we have a lot of creative skill, we can create a lot of different designs from nothing. And a lot of business owners are looking for that. They're looking for unique designs that they can sell in their product. And if you are willing to sell your art with commercial license, you will be able to make some profit and help another business. So I think of it as a win-win, because you don't actually need to sell the actual product, like a mug or t-shirt. You don't need to worry about that. You just worry about the design and finding a customer for it. You might even offer a custom commercial license design, in which case they will be coming to you with some order or something that looks like what they have in mind, and then you can have an ongoing cost. So try it out, because honestly, if I had a little more free time on my hands, I would give it a try. Next one is Canva templates. I'm not gonna get into this one because it's a common subject. You can find it on YouTube, or if you Google it, a lot of people talking about making Canva templates and selling them on Etsy, so you can check it out. The only thing I will add to it is that for you as an artist, whether you're doing calligraphy or you're drawing or both, you have an eye and artistic vision, and that's what matters. You can create unique designs and create your very own illustrations that would be part of this design. And that's what will make you stand out. And next one is logo designs. Once again, not gonna get into that too much. Logo design is very straightforward, but I think it's still a good idea just because there are always new businesses who are always looking for new logo designs. So you can check this one out. Next one is font. If you are skilled in calligraphy or you have a very unique way of writing, you can sell your font. And this one is actually quite good because a lot of people can benefit from it. Not everybody can write beautifully. I don't write beautifully at all. Thank you, gifted calligraphy artists who create those beautiful fonts, because I'm using them, and that is why there is a place in the market for those kind of things. Next one is printable flashcard, because the competition with this is lower, but then again, it all depends on your design. You can get as creative with it as you want, and your customers would be both business owners who would like to sell it, and again, here you might want to consider thinking about attaching business license to that, or people who are just looking for gifts for their kids or things like that. So following ideas all have to do with branding. You might have heard of this one, but I'm still gonna say it. Social media design. Social media is growing. All of the businesses are using it. So if you can create beautiful designs for Instagram icons, for their logos, for their stories, create an aesthetic and sell it as a pack, a lot of businesses would benefit from it, and so they would be happy to purchase from you. As long as you can make it catchy, aesthetically pleasing, and have different designs for different brands. I think even though the market is quite saturated, this kind of product is always gonna be useful just because people are looking for different designs. And if you can stand out and do something different from what competition does, it doesn't matter the market is saturated. Somebody who's looking for that kind of design is gonna get it. And with that, we have to talk about Etsy shop designs. When people are getting on Etsy and planning to start selling stuff, they still need to have some kind of branding. They still have a profile picture to take care of. They still have the banners and things like that. So if you can have an Etsy selling pack, it would be very useful for them. And including with that, you can also do like thank you card designs. Those thank you card designs can actually be from businesses. So for example, if you are designing a branding pack for an Etsy shop with some aesthetic, I don't know, maybe it's all blue, you can also include a thank you card design there as well, so that they can use it for their customers. And speaking of helping beginner sellers, another thing you can also sell is custom labels and text for printing. There are people out there who are selling candles or moisturizers or things like that, and their products still need to have a beautiful label. So if you can design a beautiful label for them, they will be willing to pay for it and just print them themselves as well. So those are all of the creative digital product ideas I got for you guys today. I did choose to only talk about digital products today. I think they're very useful, especially when you don't have a lot of money to invest in it. But also, if you want to have something physical, but you don't want to take the risk of printing a bunch of posters that will never get sold, what you can also consider is print on demand. Print on demand has been getting more and more popular. You can even design special designs for specific products, like phone cases or t-shirts or whatever, because nowadays print on demand services, they have a lot of variety of products. For example, you can check out Printify. They've got a huge selection. I've tried them before. I think they're pretty good, but that is if you are considering to sell something that is physical. Thank you for watching. I have a lot more videos coming up about art careers and art businesses, so check out, it's gonna be in this playlist over here, and I will see you guys next time.